Going through a little bit of withdrawal here. Finally excited to actually finish up the T-bucket here. We started our gauges in part 1, our gauge upgrade. We're gonna do part 2, finish it up, install our temp sensors and a few other little goodies, and no idiot lights. No idiot lights for the T-bucket. Hopefully get this thing pushed out and go for a test drive. Haven't been able to drive it in like a week, so I've kind of been going just a little bit crazy. More crazy, because I'm not a big fan of wiring nightmares and unfinished projects. So been looking over this thing for the past couple days, trying to figure out kind of what route we need to go with here. So part 1, we were gonna do this, kind of backed off on a little bit, had to think of a few things. So we're gonna need to dump the cooling system, get the temp gauge installed, oil pressure sender. Yeah, so really been thinking about this one. I wanted to actually get it as close as I could to the top. Well, as close as I could to the motor without having a bunch of excess lines. But I think what I'm actually going to do now with this thing is I'm going to use what I have, and I'm just gonna run it as it was. That way we can just use shorter line. I wanted to mount it right down in there, or as close as I could, and you know, as little adapters as possible. But yeah, I think I got a better route for this one here. So, oh yeah, we have this little momentary switch that we have to try to get figured out here. So, need to get the swamp water dumped out of here. This is probably the most atrociously smelling water that comes out of this radiator. It's absolutely incredible. And then our temp sensors right in there. I already cut the old one out. We have to actually fish it out of our wiring here, and then actually let's go ahead and pull that out. Get that sucker out there. Get that pushed to the side. Yeah, we'll pull that one off too for now. A little bit easier access there. So let's check our adapter, see what we got going on. Dump the radiator here, and then yeah, we'll do the oil last. Damn, like literally, is this none of this fits under here. Wow. Now, I don't really feel like draining the radiator here, so we are gonna do this. We're gonna do this the old school way. The old school way being, I'm just gonna use my finger and I'm gonna jam it in the hole. And then we'll top off the radiator when we're done. See how much of a mess we can make. Oh man, it smells terrible. Getting our starter all nice and wet. It's all right. We drive this thing in the rain. I'm not worried about it. All right. All right, so that one's in. I don't know if you guys know, but that's like the hottest point on a small block Chevy 350 to actually put the temperature sensor gauge. I started realizing during the power tour that I was getting a lot hotter readings than what was actually going on. Let's straighten that connector out just a little bit more. There we go. And another smidge. All right, we're good. All right, so I got a few options here on wiring. I'm gonna just put our tip on. I'm not going to use the one that they sent me. I'm going to use my own. And that way I know it's actually waterproof. Let's make sure it actually connects though. So I'm a really big fan of the marine grade connectors here, just because you can heat shrink them down and they're actually truly waterproof. Is that going to work? Come on. Oh yeah, look at that. That work? Yep, we're good. So now, what we'll do is we'll get this connected in here, and then I'll heat shrink it when we're done. and we'll heat shrink it on the temp sensor itself. So that should be good there. I'm surprised this 3D cover that we printed has lasted as long as it has. As many times as passengers had literally kicked the shit out of this thing on the firewall. It's still standing strong here. So we got our wire pulled through. Is that gonna be enough for us there? Gonna have just a little more than we need, but that's okay. We're latched, yup. A little bit of heat. And we're gonna go to signal. So I think the next electrical gauge set we do, not saying that there's gonna be another one. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe the next build we do. We do like an all-in-one cluster that has one single wiring harness in the back. It's all wired together, one giant, like 10 or 12, smack dab, right in the middle. What do you guys like? You guys like multiple gauges? You like the singular sets, the all-in-ones, 3-in-1s, 5-in-1s, 10-in-1s? Or do you like kind of like a row like I have? I'm kind of curious on what you guys like here. I like this setup. It's pretty cool, but again, looking, hindsight, it's something that I think I would change up. Not on this one. This one's going to stay the way it is, but I think if I ever did another one, we'll get one of those ones that has like, a large center gauge in the middle while mounting. Or, even like a piece of wood, like a wood dash. Problem with the wood dash is you really do, unless you use something really thin, you kind of give up internal real estate in a T-bucket. But on something like a 1927 or 1931, it could be all right. It could be all right. We can call our water sender done. Just got to hard mount it. But that one's done there. All right, well, I think the next one we got to do is, what I didn't say is I haven't actually figured out the fuel one. I know it's simple. And for some reason, I was trying to use the fuel sender, playing around with it over the week. It just kind of wasn't working out. So we're going to get it fixed. We're going to figure out what's wrong with it. But yeah, let's do the oil one. All right, come on, where you at? Where you at? Oil sender. Oh, there it is. Man, I just banged my shin. Ooh, right on the exhaust tip. Oh my God. I did it again. Oh man, that one right there. I did it again. Yeah. I have to get something 3D printed for that. I know I've seen a lot of posts of people running into those sideways. I ran into that a couple months ago, and man, my leg did not stop bleeding for like a month. Alrighty, so on the back here, we've got G and WX. G's our signal, and WX is our idiot light. I'm not going to do an idiot light though. If I thought out the design a little bit previously when we built the T-bucket, then I would have done some idiot lights, but we're a little past that at this point. So we're going full send, OG style. All right, boys and girls, don't wire your gauges, especially your oil pressure line like this. You could do better. You could do better. Man, I swore that thing fit when I put it over there. Oh my goodness. Did I just put back the wrong wrench? Let's get me a chair here. So for this one, was that oil? Come on. I think this one's like the tightest one out of all of them. Does not want to come out. All right, guys, so let me try to squeeze down in here underneath the, next to the transmission. So there's our new sensor here that's going to run to our gauges. I got that in. What I did find out is I don't think there was anything wrong with our actual speedometer, even though it broke. I found this in the side of the transmission. So that's the pin for inside the cable. It's just, it looks like it kind of just sheared at the spring base there. So I was hoping to save that cable for another project, but we're gonna have to cut that thing out there, and then yeah, we're gonna run our wire. What I did make here, trying to bend this camera around for you, is got a nice little harness that we're gonna run underneath and up to the front, and that's gonna click right into the side there. Oh shoot, what is that? Man, I have been looking for that there for some time. Wow, imagine that. It literally just got stuck. That's cool. What is that, my number, what is that, my number 10? Oh no, that's my 5/16. Look at that, nice. Add that back to the pile here. So I think what we're gonna do, yeah, let's cut that out. I think what we can go ahead and do with this is, I think we can just go ahead and clip this on if I can get my arm in there just enough. I'm like wedged between the sharp exhaust here. And I should just click on there just like that. So I just realized that it's bike week, and hey, what would be better than taking your bike, not your bike, the bike week, right? Got our new Omegas installed here. So now we're gonna put these suckers to the test. The last set we had were, well, they were really about the cheapest set of gauges that I could find. I was going for a budget build. Hey, don't blame me now. But these suckers should last pretty good, I hope. They've got about 13 miles on them or so. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go 3.5 hours from the west side of Florida all the way to the east side to Daytona Beach, hang out there a little bit and come back. So total round trip, we're looking at roughly about 350 miles. So this is gonna be a perfect test for these gauges actually. And I'm hoping we get back with no hiccup. But if you've been around long enough, you know that we always run into hiccups now. So what I did is I didn't really tidy up all the wires quite yet. I want to make sure that we are all set and ready to go before we actually finalize all our, let's just say, cleaning up our wires and whatnot. All right, let's get on the road here. So we are about 80 miles, 80-ish or so miles outside of town, and we got a little bit of an issue. So we're about, I think it's called, literally think it's called Zofo Springs, or I don't know the name of it. I'm leaking oil down here. It's really hard to see. What I'm guessing is it's coming from the back of the actual oil gauge there. So it was a weird setup. It was a 1/8 inch MPT to AN4. I can tighten that up. I'm going to try to tighten that up, but I've got another issue going on. This thing is running really bad. Really rough. Got plenty of oil pressure. I checked, it's getting low, but I've got tons and tons of kick up coming from, looks like right there. It's really hard to tell. It's all over. I knew I already had an oil leak on this thing, so I wasn't too concerned, but that's new. That's new, and I wonder if that has anything on what's going on. Getting a lot of pop too from that cylinder, so I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit, and actually gonna check that plug and see if it, I don't know, maybe it's fouling out or something's going on over on this side here. But the cab leak ain't too bad. We can fix that. Hey, but gauges work. Gauges are working, so that's all that matters right now. But I'm trying to think if maybe I need to go ahead and cancel my trip out and head back to the house. Let's let that cool down, and then we're gonna pull that and check that out there. Also, there really isn't much I can do about that oil leak. We had that one up front during power tour, and then a little blow by there, but that is, I mean, that's, yeah, that's all kicked back all over here. I thought it was like sprinkling. I literally thought it was sprinkling or somebody was spitting out their window or something, but yeah, I guess it was just hot oil hitting my face. Felt like the Red Baron, oil kicking in my face, 200-degree oil, more than that. I think it's time that this motor gets, I think this thing needs some love. I really think it needs some new head gaskets and new heads. It's done its job. It's got more than 5,000 miles on it, so it's definitely paid for itself so far. All right, so we made it home with the T-bucket. Did about 140 miles. The gauges held up, so I do know that the gauges do work. Ended up wanting to call it. It was getting a little bit too sketchy. It went a little slow coming back. I didn't go as fast or go blowing nuts going home. But I think we've come to the crossroads on the T-bucket, and I don't know. What do we do? It's really a hard decision. What do we do with the T-bucket? We've got a few options here. Actually, we only have one option. I'll get to that. But if you guys follow the build from the beginning, I know many of you guys have, especially the ones that watched the T-bucket one. I've noticed the guys who watch T-bucket don't like the Goblin, but that's okay. That's okay, because you should see what's coming after the Goblin. We're going to go back to something cool. That's cool too, but we got our money's worth out of this backyard slug here, this junkyard slug. The original owner, I knew he was probably blowing smoke, but it is what it is. I think what we're going to go ahead and do is it's time to tear the sucker apart and do a full rebuild. I think maybe some aluminum heads, new valves, new rods, new rockers, new rings. I don't know. I need to do a little bit of research, see where we're going to go with this one, but maybe upgraded intake manifold, maybe edible crotch 4-barrel carb. Nah, we'll stick with the Holley, Hellbrock's leak. Yeah, that's some big things coming up for this. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do some research, see what we're going to go, what route we're going to do this. We're definitely going to tear that motor apart. I can tell you that here now. I just don't know what we're going to put into it. I'm a bit of a cheap ass, and I like to do things really, really on the cheap. So I'm going to try to find probably the cheapest aluminum head rebuild kit we could find. It's going to make this thing run like a raped ape. Yeah, may end up doing, since we're in there, may do a big belt kit. I don't know. Yeah, got a lot of stuff planned for this one here. But I'm thinking, guys, let me know. We got to do a teardown. I can do a teardown video. We can tear into the motor, or one of the other things I've been thinking of is I've been dabbling a little bit into the live sessions for YouTube. I'm not quite sold on YouTube Live yet. It's not really my thing, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section below of doing a live teardown. Unscripted, just set it and forget it. It's going to be a couple hour thing. You can watch it all the way through, or you can watch it over the next couple days, but I'm thinking maybe a live teardown of the motor, so you can actually see what's going on, and we can kind of take a look at number 6, see what's going on over there. I'd like to see the cork blowout on the other side too, on the bank 1. But let me know. Long form video like normal, or do we do a full live session teardown, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Gauges work, so I think we've solved that problem here. We got a nice set going. It just got to fix the leaky 69 small block here. So till next time. I almost forgot. 34 Ford Coupe, 32 Ford Coupe. So I'm thinking 34 5-window, or 32, or 27 Tudor sedan. Not making any promises. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just, let me know below. Just let me know in the comments section. And if it were to be a 34 or a 32 or a 27, maybe a 454 big block or a 350, I don't know. Let me know in the comments section below. Just gauging some stuff. Not making any promises, not suggesting anything, but let that one sink in for a second. Somebody has a flathead Ford laying around they want to donate to the channel, and that kind of changes everything there. But till next time, guys.